Okay, welcome to Introduction Java Programming by White and Yang, 8th edition, Chapter 4 Loops, Problem number 19. Using a nested for loop, write the program that displays the following pyramid. Okay, so to start, first I'm gonna need two variables. So let's start with the int. I want to call my first integer variable as temp and comment this as temporary variable, which will be useful later during this exercise. And my second variable is going to be rows, representing the number of rows. So it's going to be 8. So comment this as number of rows. Okay. Now I'm going to start displaying the pyramid. I'm going to start with initializing temp equal to 1. So I'm going to start with my for loop, initializing I to 1. Make I less than or equal to rows as my condition, and my action as I++. Now inside my for loop, I'm gonna implement another for loop, this time with int j, set it equal to rows, to the value of rows, then as my condition being j more than I, not more than or equal, should be careful, and my action being j minus minus. Since the number of rows, the value of rows is more than that of I, it should be j minus minus. If it was j plus plus, I'd end up with an infinite loop. So j minus minus. Now inside my loop, I'm gonna use system.out.printf because my output is gonna have 3 digits, so I'm gonna use printf to format %3s, should follow it by a space, and in that s it should take a string value, so I'm gonna make it as an asterisk, just so I can run it real quick and see. And of course, at the end of my inner loop, I should perform a line break. Now if I run it, there we go. So I tested it and it went good. So my first loop, it should print spaces instead of asterisk before starting to print values. So the first value, which is 1, should come right here. 1, 2, 1, and 2. 1, 1, 2, and 4, and so on. So let me just replace this with space. Then start with my second inner loop, this time with int k, set it equal let me set it equal to 1, then k, make it less than or equal to that of I, then k plus plus. Inside this loop, I'm gonna print. Let me do a quick test. Make it print. Use printf. I want to do another test. So %3d instead of s because I want to enter an integer value, and make that integer value as the value of k. Let me run it. Okay, I guess it's good because it's 3D, meaning that it reserved 3 spaces for the integer. So if I would just remove this value and make just %d, then run it, they would end up next to each other, the values. Of course, I should fill with by space, and there we go. It's going good so far. So I need to use temp. I should display the value of temp instead of k. So temp, put this back to 3. And at the end of this, may perform temp times equal 2. Now if I run it, why has it done like this? 1, 2, 2, 4. Okay, kept performing times 2 for the temporary variable. Okay, so I've seen my mistake here. The initialization of temp equal to 1 should be at the start of the primary loop, equal 1. Perfect. So every time I start a new iteration in the primary loop, I reset temp equal to 1. Like if I go back, if temp was outside the primary loop, this is why I ended up with this output. You can see here 1, 1 times 2, 2, 2 times 2, 4, 4 times 2, and so on. So let me put this back and run it. There we go. Very nice. Okay, so now I should print the remaining values. So with that, I start implementing my third inner loop. Initialize int z, set it equal to set it equal. Okay, let me set z equal to I, then make my condition as z more than 0 and z minus minus. So at the first iteration, z would be equal to 1, but this condition would be false. So as if I'm making the first iteration of this loop ignore this for loop because I want the third inner loop to start at row 2, not at row 1. Let me do a quick test. System.out.printf percentage 3d followed by space and the value of z. Let's see how it goes. If I run it, start at row 1. So this should be I minus 1. There we go. Okay, it worked now. Yes, at the first time I should be z should be equal to 0, and this condition should be false so that the third for loop would start at the second row. My mistake. Okay, now here before the third for loop I should perform temp divided equal to 2. then here this should print the value of temp, and at the end temp divided equal to 2. This is a problem in this execution. Let me show you why. Because it printed the pyramid correct, but look at the values 1, 2, 2, and it should be 1, 2, 1. So every time the third for loop is going to iterate, I'm gonna allow it to perform temp divided equal to 2 before printing its value. Like that, if I run it, there we go. Now we've printed the pyramid correctly. Very nice. So like that, using a nested for loop, we have written a program that displays the following pyramid. Very nice.